that you withhold is a pain that you carry," to quote Alex Collier. I watched as she started to shrink, and I grew until we were back to our normal size, only she disappeared. I awoke only to find the bully at school no longer feeling compelled to single me out and harm the unseen in me. The poem I wrote about this on my website is called The Nightmare Gift. It poses a question that could it be that the dream, the astral realm, is given to us to deal with the dream, to deal with and learn about the unconscious things that bind us. If we run or fight, which we have been conditioned to do, it would follow us into the physical waking life to now have to deal with it here. So then, would not the nightmare be a gift that we flipped on its head and interpreted all backwards? If I dealt with the scary beings in my dreams in a responsible, aware way, would it not go away in the waking world as well? If we are co-collective, co-creators, and if we all ran and fought in our dreams, and we would manifest a living nightmare for the whole world. Is that all we have to do, is face our fears or living nightmares? I had another chance to test this out in another nightmare, but this time I would then explore it with a whole new angle. If we are asleep in our waking life, and I was aware of this, could I lucid live? I wrote a poem about this experience, and it's a true story called How I Came About Cruising the Sea, which I'll actually share with you now. It all started with a nightmare of a scary monster chasing me, and I went up to that monster and I said, "Hi, by the way, you're not real." And poof, he disappeared, and I looked at the dank, dismal place I was in and I thought, tropical paradise, and there I was standing in a tropical paradise. I awoke the next day and I thought, this is really interesting, because the night before I was reading a book about dolphins, and it was saying how dolphins use 100% of their brain and only 50 when they're sleeping. Therefore, dolphins, 50 when they're sleeping, and humans use 10% of their brain. Well, I know a lot of people will argue and say that's not necessarily true, but we're actually only conscious of 10%. We do use 100, but that's when we're sleeping. So that being the case, do dolphins consider humans to be asleep? And then I was also thinking that what if we were to be aware that this waking life we were dreaming, and if we were to be lucid in it, could we control it like we did in the dream? So I know this was a crazy idea, but I just had to test it out. So I went down to the calendar and I wrote down April 14. Somehow I would be in a tropical paradise and it would all be paid for and everything would be taken care of. Not only that, but my thought of the dolphin would also bring me to the dolphins. So the next day I went to set, and one of my friends, because I was working in the film industry at that time, and one of my friends said, "Jess, you would be really good working on a cruise ship." And I said, "Well, I thought about that, and I know it's not possible because you need to have a secondary education to work on the cruise ship, and I don't even have high school, so I really don't stand a chance." And then it popped into my head by my guides, "Jess, you're dreaming, you can do whatever the heck you want." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." So I went for the interview, and it was an incredibly intimidating woman from Harvard University. But what I did was I researched the company 3 different ways: guest aspect, crew aspect, and business aspect, so I knew more about her ship than she did. And then all an interview really is just 20 different ways why you want to work for our company. So rather than saying I'm a people person, hard worker, fast learner, I just looked her square in the eyes and said, "Yeah, I'm more action than talk. Put me on that ship and I'll show you what I can do." And shortly after, I was flown from Vancouver to Seattle, Seattle to Texas, Texas to Miami, Miami to San Juan, San Juan to St. Kitts, where I caught my ship exactly April 14th. My job was master of ceremonies, to host, coordinate, and arrange all the activities and events, and also to be paid to explore the Mayan ruins and swim with dolphins. So it worked. And I share that with you so all of you guys can try that out as well and see for yourself. Clue number 6. Another dream. I wrote this one into a poem as well that I called Two Worlds Become One. I did not go into the detail of this poem though, because this dream was so bizarre. It started with me seeing this white rabbit, and when I went to pick it up, it turned into a purple porcupine. Then a crab with giraffe heads for legs. It just kept getting even more bizarre. When my dreams get bizarre, I see that as a cue that I am dreaming and become lucid and take control and go and do what I like in my dream. But this dream, I could not become lucid, so when I awoke, I asked my guides about it. They said, oh, it's getting to the point, Jess, that your waking life is just as bizarre as your dream life, to the point that your soul can no longer tell the difference between the two. They are merging into one again. No longer shall they be separated, like lovers longing to be together again. Clue number 7. The last dream. Really, this is my last dream. I haven't been able to dream since. How did that happen, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. I did write this one into a poem as well, though, on my website called Beyond the Veil. In this dream, I was in this dream when I saw a ripple, and I write as if I'm talking. It's really funny. So I saw a ripple, and I went up to investigate and found that this ripple was from a veil that my dream was projected on. Everything, and I found everything was a hologram projection on a screen. There. I was lost to it as if it were real. Now, what could be beyond the veil? Curiosity took me, and I found I was in this dark room, but there was some white light coming from a door open slightly ajar. I went at the door and found I could hear a conversation. I just realized how this almost sounds like a near-death experience, being in the darkness and then the white light. I found I was in a house, and there's this conversation, and the white light was down the stairs. So I poked my head between the railing, and the voices were speaking about me, about my life as Jessica, and where I was at in my future. I poked my head out closer as I felt like I hit the mother lode, and I wanted to hear more. But at that moment, they felt my presence and then said, "What is she doing past the veil hologram? She is not grounded. We need to ground her." And they pointed their finger at me, and I awoke. Oh, crap. It was so frustrating because it was just starting to get really good. And I felt like a little kid who was plopped down to watch a movie to be distracted while the grown-ups had to talk about my future and made plans that I would not find out about till later. When they mentioned ground me, I knew full well what they meant by that. What a clever play on words. Like a child doing something they should not, they get grounded. But I, lost to the realm of fascination of the spiritual world, was floating up, up, up with no anchor. I was so not grounded. From that day forward, I was grounded from dreaming. If I dreamed, I would just go beyond the veil again, and they knew that. My sleep time now would be used for me to be a dream guide, to visit and work with others. This is another reason why so many seem to recognize me. My dreams now took place in the waking life. I was now a full-time daydream lucid life liver. That sounds funny. I was starting to discover my power. Well, all of our power. Tactics like The Secret and What the Bleep used not for self-gain and wealth like most of us were taught to use it as. Instead, I directed it to the whole of humanity. The fairy godmother helped others out of a nightmare into a fairy tale happy existence. I am certain that is our birthright. Clue number 8. I just came home from working on the cruise ship to find my mom had moved to this new house, and she had a roommate whom she somehow managed to rub the wrong way, and man was he upset. It did not help to find out that our roommate was an ex-con. What a thing to come home to. My mom was so scared, she turned to me and told me the situation. I said, "No problem, Mom. I'll take care of it." I went into my room and closed my eyes and called this roommate ex-con's face to my inner mind's eye. Then I jumped into his eyes and went to his soul and said, "This is not who you really are. You're lost to your role." And then I downloaded unto his soul unconditional love and light. The next day my mom said to me, "Jessica, what did you do?" "What do you mean, Mom?" "Well," she said, "I do not know what you did, but he is acting like a pussycat. He seems to be very happy and seems to not care any more about being upset with us and staying true to his threats." I was really taken aback by this news. I was only playing around when I said, "No problem, Mom, I'll take care of it." I did not know how I knew or what I would do till that